she is an egotistical bully. And she was such a brat that she wanted to control every scene, wanted to see all the dailies, wanted to do her own cut and did her own cut of the movie. All this is very unusual for just an actress in the film.
Blake Lively will be sued.
Kelly just dropped a bombshell. Blake Lively is allegedly facing serious legal trouble after masterminding a desperate smear campaign against Justin Baldoni. What started as a PR stunt may now end with real consequences, and possibly a jail sentence.
And used threats and coercion and bullying to do.
She tried everything to play the victim. Tears, headlines, and sympathy spins. But instead of redemption, she earned herself a one-way ticket to public humiliation. The narrative collapsed, and the world finally saw through the act.
Didn't harass Blake. Blake was interested in wresting control of this movie away from Justin, who was the director and the producer. She was just an actress in it.
Now, Hollywood's self-crowned queen of manipulation is about to face the music. Not on the red carpet, but behind bars. The empire she built on control and deceit is crumbling fast, and this time, there's no script to save her.
That's what happens to you, right? You run into somebody who seems like a witch who will take advantage of you and hurt you until finally even that kind of a guy rises up. Now, he didn't do it himself.
She really thought she could waltz into Hollywood, hijack a film, bulldoze the director, and still walk away playing the victim. Yet here we are, watching the biggest legal disaster of 2024 unfold like a reality show gone terribly wrong. It Ends With Us was meant to be an emotional masterpiece, a faithful adaptation of Colleen Hoover's best-selling novel. But thanks to Blake Lively's unbearable obsession with control, the project spiraled into chaos.
And she was such a brat that she wanted to control every scene, wanted to see all the dailies, wanted to do her own cut and did her own cut of the movie. All this is very unusual for just an actress in the film, even if she's the lead. And that she's now tried to turn this whole thing into a PR victory for her to get past what appears to be the fact that she is an egotistical.
Now, it's best known not for its message, but for its meltdown, bombing at the box office and sparking a multi-million-dollar legal war. Critics shredded it, audiences cringed, and it became a PR inferno, faster than Lively could rewrite another line with her signature creative touch.
And she continued, she took that stiletto and stuck it in his heart when he was down there self-flagellating, being so sorry for anything having to do with his testosterone.
The perjury allegations alone could put her behind bars for up to 4 years. And if the court decides to make an example of her, Blake could face the harshest penalties possible. Because contrary to what she might believe, lying under oath isn't just another Hollywood performance, it's a felony. Under California Penal Code Section 118, perjury can lead to 4 years in state prison and fines up to $10,000. And let's be honest, if Blake really did falsify evidence or mislead the court, the judge won't care how many couture gowns she owns.
And that she's now tried to turn this whole thing into a PR victory for her to get past what appears to be the fact that she is an egotistical.
The beginning. The real storm lies in the defamation case. Because Blake didn't just sabotage Baldoni's movie, she allegedly tried to obliterate his entire career. California's defamation laws don't play around. If it's proven that she fabricated lies with intent to destroy his reputation, she's heading straight into a legal nightmare.
Rises up. Now, he didn't do it himself exactly. He hired a badass named Brian Friedman. And he has badass women like me defending him. Mm-hmm. But slowly but surely, I think the male class is learning down on the floor, squirming and apologizing for being a man is not the
defamation suits have bankrupted stars before, and Baldoni's staggering $400 million lawsuit isn't a number he pulled out of thin air. It's the price tag of a calculated smear campaign. If he wins, it could mark one of the most expensive downfalls in modern Hollywood history, and Blake Lively's once golden brand may never recover.
Defend Justin Baldoni in this lawsuit with Blake Lively because I think she's horrible and she's made up this whole thing because she tried to steal his movie.
And let's not forget, she's also being sued by a PR firm for $7 million after they accused her of spreading false statements that destroyed their reputation and cost them clients. So now Blake isn't just fighting one lawsuit, she's drowning in them. She may have perfected her red carpet smirk, but let's see how well that holds up when she's staring down a courtroom packed with evidence that could expose every lie she's ever told.
First in on me uninvited when I was breastfeeding my child. She says we should run lines together. He's like, anytime. And she's like, come on over. I'm breastfeeding the baby in the trailer, but come on over. So it's like it's written there, black and white. She invited him in, and a lot of women are comfortable having someone around when they breastfeed. So it's not so weird, especially out in Hollywood.
Megyn Kelly didn't hold back either, comparing Blake Lively to Amber Heard 2.0 And let's be honest, that's not a label anyone in Hollywood wants. Kelly tore into Lively's crumbling legal strategy, warning that if the perjury charges gain momentum, Blake could be facing real jail time, not a symbolic Hollywood slap on the wrist. This isn't about bad PR anymore. It's about potential prison bars.
Allegations have fallen apart, and I was not really a bully, I was just targeted allegations have fallen apart. And now he's going full Johnny Depp on her to show that she was the bully. She was the one harassing him.
Now, let's talk about the key players in this circus. On one side, Justin Baldoni, the director and producer who genuinely cared about telling a meaningful story. On the other, Blake Lively, an actress who somehow convinced herself she was Hollywood's answer to both Meryl Streep and Martin Scorsese. Then there's Ryan Reynolds, her equally insufferable husband, allegedly whispering advice from the sidelines like some kind of comedic oracle. And of course, Taylor Swift, because she simply must be involved in every Hollywood drama, reportedly pulling strings behind the scenes. With a lineup like that, disaster wasn't just possible, it was inevitable.
The hatred on both sides is so intense, it makes you wonder if there was like a deep attraction, that whether it was consummated or not.
So how did it all begin? Simple. Blake Lively wanted total control. Never mind that she wasn't the director, the producer, or the screenwriter. She acted like this was her personal vanity project. What was supposed to be a heartfelt story about domestic violence and healing turned into a bizarre, tone-deaf, fashion-forward spectacle. The irony? Insiders claim she never even read the book the film was based on.
Blake Lively did not even read the book that the movie was based on.
Correct.
And we're not talking War and Peace. This is a book that's probably written at a second grade reading level.
Right. She tried to hijack a project she didn't even bother to understand. If that isn't the most Blake Lively move imaginable, I don't know what is. Justin Baldoni had one clear mission: to create a film that captured the emotional honesty and heartbreak of Colleen Hoover's novel. He wanted rawness, pain, and truth, the very essence that made the book a global sensation. Then in walks Blake, reportedly demanding rewrites to lighten the tone and inject humor into a story about trauma and survival.
In florals, and then she's going on this press tour, pushing her liquor line and her hair care line, because that's what women who are trying to escape with their lives are worried about.
That's what generated her negative press.
Because apparently, what a film about domestic abuse really needs is a few quirky one-liners and a luxury wardrobe. Lively allegedly insisted on high fashion aesthetics, couture gowns, designer handbags, and immaculate lighting, as if It Ends With Us were a Vogue editorial instead of a story about pain and recovery. Fans were stunned when early set photos leaked. Instead of the raw realism they expected, they saw Blake strutting through scenes in heels, looking more like a runway model than a woman escaping abuse. This wasn't just a creative clash, and it was open warfare. Insiders claim Lively repeatedly went over Baldoni's head, lobbying studio executives to sideline him. She allegedly rewrote entire scenes, demanded final say on edits, and tried to strip the director of creative control mid-production. Nothing says professional actress like attempting to stage a coup on set.
Rated Justin for things that were going on the set that they didn't like. They took control of the script. Blake personally, with Ryan's help, rewrote scenes. Again, not within the purview of an actress.
And of course, Ryan Reynolds was allegedly right there beside her, egging it on. Sources claim he encouraged Blake to inject humor into the script, because when your entire career rests on sarcasm and superhero quips, you start believing every film needs a Deadpool moment. Reports even allege a private confrontation between Reynolds and Baldoni inside the couple's Manhattan penthouse, an exchange so heated that a Sony representative reportedly left in disbelief. It was no longer just creative tension. It was turning into a full-blown Hollywood power struggle.
Director.
Yes.
If you don't like this, have the balls to do it yourself.
Right.
Like, don't have your husband throw his weight around.
With your husband, that's so weird. Like your husband who's Ryan Reynolds. Of course it was a threat.
Naturally, the chaos spiraled into one of the biggest legal battles Hollywood has seen in years. Justin Baldoni wasn't about to let Blake Lively's self-indulgent antics and alleged smear campaign go unchallenged. He hit back hard, filing a full-scale defamation lawsuit. Because when you accuse someone of being a tyrannical, abusive director, you'd better have evidence to match the headline. And guess what? Blake didn't. What she did have was a collapsing narrative, a furious director, and a courtroom storm brewing fast.
Your penthouse, on your home turf, using your wealth as leverage,
right?
Like showing off, like
and
look
your
at
friend Taylor,
and your friend Taylor, who's like, what is she doing there? Is she just like scrolling Instagram?
One of my dragons.
What is she like? That is just wild. I think, you know, he'll learn a lot from.
Of course, Blake wasn't going down quietly. She fired back with her own lawsuit, accusing Baldoni of harassment, bullying, and on-set emotional cruelty. Overnight, she morphed from combative co-star to self-proclaimed victim of workplace abuse. Convenient, right? It was the Amber Heard strategy 2.0. When all else fails, flip the script and play the victim card. The parallels were almost uncanny. Lively wasn't just upset about the film, she wanted Baldoni's entire reputation scorched to the ground.
Season some small thing I never saw, but she's saying, F with me and we'll crush you. My dragons and I, the biggest movie star, one of them in the planet, the biggest pop star in the planet, and I will hurt you unless I get my...
And no Hollywood scandal is complete without a little media intervention. Right on cue, the New York Times swooped in to polish Blake's image, publishing a suspiciously sympathetic expose that portrayed Baldoni as a controlling tyrant and Lively as the fragile starlet bravely standing up to industry oppression. But Baldoni wasn't buying it. He hit back again, this time with a $250 million lawsuit accusing the paper of twisting facts to protect its favorite Hollywood elite. And honestly, who could blame him? If there's one thing the industry does best, it's protecting its privileged darlings, no matter how disastrous their downfall becomes.
By the way, good luck to Blake Lively in getting hired again, because all of her diva antics are coming out and the way she behaves behind the scenes. And now this with the lawsuit and the New York Times thing, because she's now filed against him as well. So it's a terrible move by her and them PR-wise.
For months, Lively's team allegedly orchestrated a behind-the-scenes smear campaign, drip-feeding negative headlines about Baldoni while she played the victim in public. Every scandal, every anonymous source, every conveniently timed hit piece painted her as the mistreated actress fighting against a corrupt system. And yet, when Baldoni finally tried to defend himself, Lively demanded a gag order to silence him. The judge said no. And with that, the floodgates of truth burst wide open.
Even says we now have a concrete timeline, which we believe implicates Blake Lively. And I mean, come on. I was the psycho who put together the timeline. So I think they've been watching the show.
Then came the bombshell no one saw coming. Lively allegedly submitted or endorsed falsified evidence in court. That's right, she may have flat out lied under oath. And if prosecutors prove it, this won't just end her career. It could end her freedom. Legal analysts say she could face up to 5 years behind bars. Imagine it. Blake Lively, Hollywood's self-anointed golden girl, trading her couture gowns for a prison jumpsuit.